Greetings and salutations to the bloodline. Greetings and salutations. This is Salima Ellis. We're going to do a little bit of teaching today. I want to do this now because later we're going to have the live about the Bible study. And I'm not doing no religious nothing. If anything, I'm going to tear that shit down. So, my face is swollen. Eating too much sugar and salt. It was good though. So today we're going to do a 1 hour live reading of Planck units. I'm going to use the Wikipedia source because I understand that a lot of my people are not up often to the educational level that they need, and I don't know how many of us out here are helping to facilitate that education. One of the reasons why I teach on YouTube is because when I had the brick and mortar school, it was a lot of money. And not that the parents and the families were not willing to pay. They did. They were more than willing to pay, especially since the pandemic happened. But I wasn't reaching enough people. And brick and mortar costs a lot, especially in a society that doesn't respect indigenous people and indigenous educations. So I had to go through a lot of hoops to try to, what you say, be approved by mainstream educational streets to prove I'm a teacher, and that was one of my biggest mistakes. You should never try to prove you to the beast you the teacher. Come and teach. Come and teach, because I will never get a fucking degree. If you know who the beast is, I'm not going to go to their schools to prove to you I need to teach. The realm is going to fucking show you. It's going to show you who your real teachers are, because they're going to show and prove, or they won't. And I didn't want to go through the hassle of taking the time off of learning to build a fund for a brick and mortar school when I know I'd rather be traveling and teaching across the realm. So today, this is part of our teaching. Let's get into this Planck energy. We're only going to do a 1 hour reading. And I said a 1 hour reading because I still have to have my voice for tonight. Mm, share screen. Yeah, because that Bible study is going to hit so much different. So today we're studying Planck units. I don't want that. I want this. Hmm. Present. There we go. Okay, yeah, so we're going to get into this Planck energy. Greetings and salutations to the bloodline. Yeah, tonight we're going to have Bible study, so I got to be able to keep it going. So today we're doing Planck units, and it's not going to be that long because there's going to be a lot of stopping and going into notes. Sometimes I won't stop you. It'll be up to you to take notes and get into this. Okay, in particle physics, which is where they take away, where they fracture the physical world and turn it into little particles so that they can dissect it and work with it. And physical cosmology, Planck units are a system of units measured, defined exclusively in terms of four universal physical constants: C, G, N, and KB. Described further below, expressing one of these physical constants in terms of Planck units yields a numerical value of 1. They are a system of natural units. What is a natural unit? Anything that's past 9 is not a natural unit. Plain and simple. Defined using fundamental properties of nature, specifically properties of free space, rather than properties of a chosen prototype object, Adam and Eve, originally proposed in 1899 by German physicist Max Planck. They are relevant in research on unified theories such as quantum gravity. The term Planck scale refers to quantum's The term Planck scale refers to quantities of space, time, energy, and other units that are similar in magnitude to corresponding Planck units. This region may be characterized by particle energies of around 10 to the 19th degree or GeV, or 10 to the 9th degree J, time, intervals of around 5 times 10 minus 44 degrees, and lengths of around 10 minus 35 degrees. Approximately the energy equivalent of Planck mass, and the Planck time and the Planck length, respectively. At the Planck scale, the predictions of the Standard Model, quantum field theory, and general relativity are not expected to apply, and quantum reflex of gravity are expected to dominate. One example is represented by the conditions in the first 10 to the minus 43rd degree seconds of our universe of the Big Bang, approximately 13.8 billion years ago. Okay, so these motherfuckers with all these big ass numbers. Let's go back. I'm up here. I don't know if you can see the screen, but they're talking about this region of Planck scale may be characterized by the particle energies of around blah, blah, blah. So the energy is how much to them, they're counting your energy as how much work you're going to provide the false matrix, the 3D matrix, and the length of time that they assume you have. Now, when they say time, they mean the time from your birth to the time to you have to start collecting your Social Security, because that's usually about the time the Planck units wear out. That's us. So they have to give you some Social Security to alleviate the fact that they've been working you from birth to the time you sit, and then you still don't get enough Social Security. Now, the length is the kind of work that you've put out. It isn't just the distance. It's the measure of work that you've put out into the realm for this corporate entity. Okay? So don't always think of length in terms of height. Planck units, we come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, heights, width, everything. That's why you see all these ass fucking numbers, right? The Planck time and Planck length, respectively, at the Planck scale, the predictions of the Standard Model, quantum field theory, and general relativity. So I don't know if y'all familiar, but any of these terms will pop up, and they'll let you go in and you can study these different terms for yourself. So what's the quantum field theory? It pops up on the screen. In theoretical physics, quantum field theory is the theoretical framework that combines classical field theory, special relativity, and quantum mechanics. Quantum field theory is used in particle physics to construct physical models of subatomic particles and in condensed matter physics to construct. So basically, what they do is they use a vacuum, and we're in the vacuum, so to speak. So quantum field theory is a framework that how can we keep them quantumly? They want to know how long they can keep us quantumly entangled with them, because there's a field. They call it string theory. We know its source. It's string theory because they're here, and they use what's this brother name? I love this brother. Tether. Tether. I was just watching his show the other night, and he talks about tethers and reserved to these humans. They try to latch on to the real Americans here. They look like us, but they not. They fucking tethers. So that's what quantum field theory is. It is a research type of theory that where they use different scientific models to see how they can keep us quantumly entangled with them within this field, because this is a field, this is space. Okay. So one of the things that they use, one of the quantum field theories that they have of the standard model to keep us quantumly entangled with them is programs such as diversity, inclusion, and integration. Okay. And then they try to give you things of general relativity. Well, when it comes to us in our realm, yes, we are relatives. But when it comes to them in our realm, no. Because any natural being that comes from this realm is not going to do anything destructive to it. Your food comes from this realm. I'm not going to do anything destructive to this realm. Their food does not. I'm organic. I'm a Planck unit. Okay? So Planck units aren't going to do anything destructive to our realm because our food comes, we don't even have to plant it. But they will because they're invaders. So they'll try to teach you something called general relativity. So let's not get caught up in these big words where you're all, no. This is Planck units in regards of our natural realm and in regards of the unnatural beings that are here. Be aware this model is based on the work, your birth, and the work that they can get out of you until the day you die. Okay, that's it. So let's not get all who these no. Pay attention to when you read these things, it relates to you every day. Even if you have to close your eyes and think about it for a while. And you have to read this stuff out loud. Quit reading it to yourself quietly. Reading to yourself quietly does not help your mind. Read out loud. Okay. Standard model, quantum field theory, and general relativity are not expected to apply. And the quantum effects of gravity, that's why I said they're anchored here. When you go back and watch Total Recall, where they had the big things come and melt, the vibranium, they're anchored here. And once we figure out what the anchor is, besides these programming, these brainwashed niggas, we can get them gone. But they've got an anchor. We just don't know what the fuck it is. Their anchor causes the gravity on this realm. Gravity on this realm is unnatural. Gravity on this well is unnatural. And you know how I know? Because all the fucking kids know they can fly. Our kids are not crazy and they're not stupid. They can fly. They know this. That means that these beings, when you see them under the UVA light that don't look right, have an anchor here that helps keep them here. And until we find out what the anchor is, they will remain. The one thing that we know why they're here is because they eating us. They gotta have it. You see, their SPF lotion is what are your melanin, your melanin. Okay, so they have an unnatural thing going on here. This is how you know it's special relativity. There's nothing special about being related to each other except for when you're not. General the classical mechanics, gravitation, non-relativistic quantum gravity, quantum mechanics. Their science is based on quantum mechanics, the theory of everything. That's source, that's us. Quantum field theory, okay? But they see it as this Big Bang. Approximately 13.8 billion years ago, the four universal constants that, by definition, have a numeric value 1 when expressed in these units are c, the speed of light in a vacuum. They can only do these in a vacuum. G, the gravitational constant. H, the reduced Planck constant. And Kb, the Boltzmann constant. Variants of the basic idea of Planck units exist, such as alternate choices of normalization that give other numeric values to one or more of the four constants above. Any system of measurement may be assigned to a mutually independent set of quantities and associated base units, from which all other quantities and units may be derived. All other life form is derived from where? Planck units. In the International System of Units, for example, the SI-based quantity include length with the associated unit of the meter. In the system of Planck units, a similar set of base quantities and associated units may be selected, in terms of which other quantities and coherent units may be expressed. That means all math is theoretical. That's all they're saying. You can create any type of math equation, multiplication, division, um, mm, temperature, time. That's all math. And it's all based on what you think you need. Okay. The Planck unit of length has become known as Planck length, and the Planck unit of time has become known as the Planck time. But this nomenclature has not been established as extending to all quantities. All Planck units are derived from the dimensional universal physical constants that defines the system, and a convention in which these units are omitted, treated as having the dimensionless value. So the dimensionless value is that they know at some point you were not physical. But your mother's pregnancy now gives you dimension. Okay? It gives you physical value. So what they're basing that on, let me see if I got this paper. I got this paper. I've read this paper probably about 20 years ago. I didn't get it at the time when I first started reading it, but this is what they're talking about. This is called, I don't know if y'all can see that, but that's called perpetual harmonic oscillator. And this paper, I don't know how old this paper is. So if you want to get deeper into Planck units, read this paper. You know it's mine because look at all the notes. I wrote on here. So Planck units are what you call perpetual. Here's the original. They are perpetual harmonic oscillating. So you are perpetually oscillating. Even when you think you die, you're not. Your vibration never stops. And that's why they say you have a soul, because the body can deteriorate. But the soul of the Planck unit never deteriorates. You never die. Even your body is just in deterioration mode. But we don't get it because we've accepted their medical society. So let me go back. I don't want to get too far out. The introduction. I just read that. So both equations are dimensionally consistent. I didn't read them equations. Let's go to the next part because I'm not doing these equations. History and definitions. The concept of natural units, natural, was introduced in 1874 when George Johnstone Stoney, noticing that electric charge is quantum, quantized, derived units of length, time, mass, and now named Stoney units in his honor. Stoney chose his units so that Gc and the electron charge E would be numerically equal to 1. In 1899, the year before the advent of quantum theory, Max Planck introduced what became later known as the Planck constant. At the end of the paper, he proposed the base units that were later named in his honor. The Planck units are based on the quantum of action. Perpetual action is perpetual, now usually known as the Planck constant, which appeared in the Wien approximation for black body radiation. Planck underlined the universality of the new unit system, writing, I don't even know what the hell that is. It is impossible to set up units for length, mass, time, and temperature, which are independent of special bodies or substances, necessarily retaining their meaning for all times and for all civilizations, including extraterrestrial and non human ones, which can be called natural units of measure. Why? Let's keep going. Anybody got any questions or anything? Hit me up. We'll go over it. But I'm going to just be reading for now. Planck considered only the units based on the universal constant G and C, H on the universal constants G, H, C, and KB to arrive at natural units for length, time, mass, and temperature. His definitions differ from the modern ones by a factor of, because the modern definitions use H, N rather than H. So where are my notes? Y'all got to excuse me because I know I got notes that I have. This may be it. Apollo books, Planck energy. Okay, so when you're doing Planck units, you these are what they gave you: Planck length, Planck mass, Planck time, Planck temperature. But you also have to include area, volume, momentum, energy, force, density, acceleration, charge, and the nature of the Planck unit. Because we come in all shapes, and we all have a what do you call, something that we're acclimated to in nature. So you have what you call horoscopes, and your horoscopes tell you what are your aspects. So my aspect is that I'm a Taurus and that I love nature. So what would be my base is different from what would be somebody's aspect who was air, or somebody's aspect who was, the four different elements, which I said were really one element, which is why I believe that they separated the elements or our natures like that. Because if you only believe you can bend one element, you won't understand that we're all the one. We're all the benders. And there isn't no like one specific the avatar. We're all avatars. Okay. Unlike the case in the International System of Units, there is no official entity that establishes a definition of Planck unit system. Some authors define the base Planck units to be those of mass, length, and time, regarding an additional unit for temperature to be redundant. Temperature is not redundant because if these beings can see us, we are at the wrong temperature. That's one of the reasons why I sleep with my bed on the floor. A lot of people thought there's something wrong with me, but no. Whenever you go in medical distress, you want to lay down, right? Whenever you medical distress outside, you want to lay down and get closer to what? The ground, to the realm. Okay? So temperature is not redundant because the closer you are to the ground, you feel cooler. Because if usually when you go into medical distress, you feel hot. And when you want to stop that, what do? You lay down in the grass where the ground is cooler. So even though the sun is coming out into the realm and hitting you up high, because this is where you're orbiting the realm, you're walking. Don't let these people talk to you crazy and you yes, no, fish swim. That's maritime. Okay? You're walking, you're orbiting the realm. You're using a satellite to move around. And effectively, your sun is slapping you around because you've been eating garbage from these humans. Okay? So when you want to feel better, what happens? The ram calls you to it to lay down. Okay? That's why I gave out the coordinates. You need the coordinates to help you. You don't call it when you get into distress and all of that, you don't call out to Jesus. I know you don't. They call everybody we see every day, unfortunately, on film. Who do they call out to? Their mothers, the true source. They never call out to Allah and Jesus. They call out to their mothers. Why would a grown man that's unattacked and might die call out to his mother? Okay, so I gave you these instructions because you don't know what you're reading when you're reading the Planck unit. When you're reading the Planck units, you have to come into understanding that you are the greatest rocket ship ever built, but you do not have coordinates. So your coordinates are magnitude, gratitude, longitude, altitude, latitude, solitude, multitude, attitude, aptitude, fortitude, and amplitude. And I think there's one more, but I don't have it here, so deal with it. So you need these coordinates to help you with what you see on the screen. Other tabulations add, in addition to a unit for temperature, a unit for electric charge, so that either the Coulomb constant was the Coulomb's inverse square law, or the Coulomb's law is an experimental law of physics that calculates the amount of force between two electrically charged particles at rest. This electric force is conventionally called the electrostatic force or the Coulomb force, although the law, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read the vacuum, is normalized to thus, depending on the author's choice, the charge unit is given by. So some of these tabulations also replace mass with energy, and when doing so, In international measurement system units, the values of C, H, E, and KB are exact, and the values of E, O, and G in international unit systems, respectively, have relative uncertainties. Hence, the uncertainties in the SI values of the Planck units derive almost entirely from uncertainty in the SI value of G. So, what is G again? Hmm. G is the gravitational constant, and that's important because as long as they can keep you in gravity, they can get more work out of you. When you start becoming fourth dimension, they can't get work out of you. Now we got these issues because a lot of y'all started moving into 4G and said, "I'm not doing this shit no more." You starting to see the realm. So that's when the gravity is leaving. The gravity isn't just your feet being anchored to the realm without your permission. Your mind has been anchored with some nonsense. Okay? Derived units. In any system of measurements, units for many physical quantities can be derived. Oh, I did all of this, didn't I? No, I didn't. Derived units. In any system of measurement, units for many physical quantities can be derived from base units. Table 2 offers a sample of derived Planck units, some of which are seldom used. As with base units, their use is mostly confined to the theoretical physics because most of them are too large or too small for empirical or practical use, and there are large uncertainties in their value. So the derived value, you have uncertain value until you go to work, until you start school. Once they realize that they can put you in a system, you're going to get a card, and it's a card and identification and surveillance that says this Planck unit is willing to put out this much work in this area, at this volume, at this momentum, at this energy level, at this force, at this density, and at this acceleration. So, acceleration is important because though the world seems to be speeding up, for those of us who are older, everything has slowed down. In mechanics, acceleration is the rate of change of the velocity of an object. So, the rate of my velocity has changed. I used to be a speed walker. Always, I'm in a hurry. I got to go. I got shit to do. What you want? What you want? That's over. I'm no longer on the timeline of the beast. I've changed timelines. So if you got a job, they're always accelerating you. If you've got school, that you're put in acceleration mode, which makes you unaware of your true age. The rate of change of the velocity of an object with respect to time and acceleration is one of several components of kinematics. What is kinematics? The study of motion. Accelerations are vectors of quantities. The orientation of an object's acceleration is given by the orientation. Okay. There was something. Now, if you notice here, it's all about area, volume, momentum. This, your unit to them is being described of how they want to use you once you get into school and work mode. So, one of the reasons why I decided to do this live reading, so you can understand how this relates to you. Whenever they talk about birth rates on the realm, this is what they mean: area, volume, momentum, energy. For can we put these motherfuckers to work? Whenever they talk about birth rate and falling birth rates, it is never about the extinction of a people. Our birth rates can drop to hell. Our birth rates can drop below the belt. You want to know why? Because when we are ready to start birthing, even at 60s, our fucking uterus work. We don't have to freeze our eggs. Our men's things still work in their 60s and 70s. I know so. My daddy had me at 50, and he bust out a couple of more after that. So Planck units, we don't have that biological clock that other species have. So whenever you hear this talk about, oh, there's not enough people to replace, it has nothing to do with us. They are not talking about our extinction. What they're talking about is the extinction of their conglomerates, of their businesses. Because you see, these conglomerates are still here, they're still in business, but nobody's working. Wonder why? Because they don't want to pay nobody. They came here for free labor and they've been getting it, and now we done. So this is all about free labor. Area, volume, momentum, energy, force, density, acceleration. When you consider it and derive of a unit expression and approximate equivalent. So this is how you know it has nothing to do with us in the form of we need to live extinction. No. Now, if you know how to read this without their terminology, you would understand we don't die. We've just accepted their medical industry terms for us. And they never use the term quality. That is another thing y'all need to be aware of when you read these things. The Planck unit is a quality of being. It's a quality of being. It's not a quantity. Quantity is just a lot of them motherfuckers. But a lot of this, what I've been reading through, as I've read through many times, is that they don't ever speak of the quality of the Planck unit. They only speak of the quantity of them because they need Planck units to work. They're not talking about the quality of the being. They're talking about the quantity of units of us that are spit out. Okay, so let's go to the next session because we'll be done in a little bit. Yeah. Some Planck units, such as time and length, are many orders of magnitude, too large or too small to be of practical use. So that Planck units as a system are typically only relevant to theoretical physics because you are a theory. We do things that they cannot. We're not normal for them. We're ordinary. They're normal. Okay? So in some cases, Planck units may suggest a limit to a range of physical quantities where present-day theories of physics apply. For example, our understanding of the Big Bang does not extend to the Planck epoch. Really? Really? When the universe was less than 1 Planck time old, describing the universe during the Planck epoch requires a theory of quantum gravity, which is not real because they can only be here through gravity. Which means that's why they're always studying us, because that's their field of study, quantum gravity. They are never here without they are here without an invitation. And when you go somewhere without an invite and you really not wanted, you use some kind of force. Well, these beings are using a force called gravity that would incorporate quantum effects, force, quantum entanglement with humans. into general relativity. We don't have no commonality except we all in here. Such as theory does not yet exist. Several quantities are not extreme in magnitude, such as the Planck mass, which is about 22 micrograms. Very large in comparison with subatomic particles and within the mass range of living organisms. Similarly, the related units of energy and of momentum are in range of some everyday phenomena. We are phenomena because we cannot be explained all the way, which is why a lot of this is what? Theory. But don't believe all of this is theory. The same way they opened up the vault and found black Jesus ass, they been had this shit in the vault about you too. So let's keep going. We just finished derived units. So now we're going to get to the significance. And the reason why this is one of the most important parts is because you're going to understand that when I said Planck, we are Planck units, because they're talking about units in a way as if it's this. This is how they're going to throw us off. Oh, shoot, my cash app. I forgot to put a greetings and salutation, Cole SR. R205. Okay, here we go. I apologize. I just jumped right into it, didn't I? Gratitude. Cash App at Salima Ellis. Cash App, money sign, Salima Ellis. So they're going to describe Planck units like we've got in this order of phones, and this thing is this many units of phones, as if you are a non-operational being, like you are an idol that you don't move or talk unless they got you. So this is the part where we're going to prove that we're Planck units and that Planck units have a structure. Okay, this is the significance. Planck units have little anthropocentric arbitrariness, but do still involve some arbitrary choices in terms of the defining constants. So you're saying Planck units have little. So what is anthropocentrism? Is the belief that human beings are the central or most important entity on the planet. So why would Planck units have little anthropocentric? Because we know we're not human. They just said right here, this is the significance of Planck units have little anthropocentric arbitrariness. That means we do not adhere to the belief that human beings are the central or most important entity on the planet, because the planet was created for us. Causality. I keep telling y'all, we are causality. This place is here for you. Everything that's on here grows without you having to put. Man, I keep telling y'all, and the realm keeps showing you. The burdock is back. They tried to kill it off, but the burdock is back with that last acid rain from those fires when they stole all of that Ancient Orange off the trains when they was hitting up all the trains last year. And then all of a sudden, we got acid rains from Canada flowing over Detroit, flowing over New York. That acid rain that they put out, they wanted to kill more of the natural realm because we've been putting it out. Hey, look, y'all food is here. Y'all don't even have to grow it. Y'all are causality. We are the organ. They are organic with the ick literally behind it, okay? So let's get to it. You are a Planck unit, and you do not have the belief that humans are the most important thing on the planet. And they are entities. You are celestial beings. So let's get back into this because I want y'all to understand. When I say I go deep and I'll be reading, I'll be reading. So this is for those that might not understand my intent on this, the significance. Planck units have little anthropocentric arbitrariness to believe that humans are the most important thing on this planet. They ain't. But they make every movie in the world. Oh, the humans are in danger. Oh, we need a savior. They need Superman. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They in danger because they ain't got no fucking business here. But do still involve some arbitrary choices in terms of defining constants, which means based on the education we've received from these people, we still make certain arbitrary choices in defining uh, how we are in this world, but we don't know we shouldn't even be contracted with them, which is why some of our choices are arbitrary, are detrimental to us, because you don't know you're a perpetually harmonic oscillating being. And until you understand that, we're going to keep making these mistakes. Unlike the meter and second, which exist in base units. Now, see how they flip the script. In the SI system, for historical reasons, the Planck length and Planck time are conceptually linked at a fundamental physical level. Consequently, natural units help physicists to reframe questions. Okay? We see that the question posed is not why is gravity so feasible, but rather why is the proton's mass so small? That ain't none of our fucking questions. That's human questions. Our question is, what the fuck did you do to our realm so that our kids can't fly no more? That's our question. What is your anchor here? That's our question. And we know you ain't gonna give it to us, which is why I'm reading so y'all can understand that I know what the anchor is. But until you understand who you are and can see yourself for who you really are, how can you see the beast for what it is? You can't. The Planck length and Planck time are conceptually linked to the fundamental physical level. Consequently, natural units help physicists to reframe questions. Blah, blah, blah. For in natural units, the strength of gravity simply is what it is, a primary quantity, which means they're using a lot of these things, while in the proton mass is a tiny number, 1/13 quadrillion. So it's a lot of these things that's helping them stay anchored. So a lot of times these scientists come on here and they get you, they talk about what is an invasive species, which is what I really need y'all to learn what invasive species is. The scientists, they come on here and they'll ask you to, hey, do this for us, do this for us. These are invasive species. They're not. They're getting you to kill your natural indigenous species to make room for their invasive species. This is how you know if it's an invasive species that doesn't belong here. If it does not survive under the sun, it is an invasive species. Like the fruit fly. That's why fruit flies are always in your house, because they don't do too well out in the sun. They come in the den of the home where it's more cooler, it's darker. That's an invasive species. Okay? So when we think of invasive species, really think about, like, the owl is indigenous to this realm. Literally, the owl is indigenous to this realm, North America. If it's seen in other realms, like islands or something, it might have been bought there, would make it an invasive species. That doesn't mean it isn't indigenous to the realm. It's just where it shouldn't be because of the colonizers' need for pets and zoos and shit like that. Okay? When I say invasive species, I mean it's like them. I mean they will destroy what is natural so that they can protect their unnatural selves. That's an invasive species. While it is true that the electrostatic repulsive force between two protons alone in free space greatly exceeds the gravitational attractive force between the same two protons, this is not about relative strengths of the two fundamental forces. From the point of view of Planck units, this is comparing apples with oranges because mass and electric charge are incommensurable quantities. Rather than the disparity of magnitude of force, is a manifestation of the fact that the charge on the protons is approximately the unit charge, but the mass of the protons is far less than the unit mass. So remember, when you're going over this, when you read Planck units, please read the significance of why this is important, because you're going to learn gratitude. Thank you so much. You're going to learn that they're always going to talk about us in some weird fucking way. They're never going to come out and say this is God, unlike what Putin did. But that was, like I said, that was a chessboard. They on the chessboard playing war games right now, and they're trying to put you in it. So that's what that means. That's how significant you are. As much as they tell us, oh, you have no land, you have no political power, y'all don't have your own money, y'all don't have this. Why the fuck is our voice at this stage so important in all of these um, confrontations and all of this? Why do they want us to say something? Why do they want those they have marginalized more than anybody, who they have hated on and never helped more than anybody? All of a sudden, you're going to put the black Jesus up and you want us to give our powerful vocal. That's how fucking powerful you are. People who have been disposed of land, wealth, heritage, identity, but yet everybody that has these things, even have their own nations, want you to speak out? Hmm. I don't think y'all know who the fuck y'all really are. AKA black man, black woman, Planck energy. Yes. The people who have been disposed most of their wealth, of self identity, of their lands, getting fucked over by every race. All of a sudden, they want to hear your voice. They want to hear what you got to say about the war. They want to hear what you got to say about the United Nations. They want to hear what you got to say about this. They want to hear, why do they want to hear our opinions if we ain't shit? If we ain't got nothing? Because you don't know. You don't know Tinkerbell. You got all the fairy dust. So let's keep going. We was reading the Planck scale. Yes. And you know I hate these scales, all these fucking line numbers. Let's stick to the reality. This is why I keep telling y'all have to write, you have to read it for yourself to break it down. But I also understand a lot of my people do not know how to study anymore. So let's keep going. Our relationship to gravity. At the Planck length scale, the strength of gravity is expected to become comparable with other forces. And it has been theorized that all the fundamental forces are unified at that scale. What are all the fundamental forces? See, they don't have that underlined, which is why we take notes, which is why I gave you coordinates, because they're going to fuck with your head about this stuff. Okay? And you know, I'm always talking about the, what am I always talking about? That scale. So this is the other part. So this in regards relationship to gravity, we're talking about the realm, the dimension, and the source of where this gravity force come from. We know we source. They came here to get us. Revelations 13. Okay, is that Revelations 13? Hold on, because y'all know I'm coming with it. Everything is connected. Everything. Revelations 12. Okay, so this is the relationship to gravity. So when they talk about the dragon coming, that's one of the dragons, gravity. It's not supposed to be here. Okay, uh, and music. The fundamental force of the unified field is music. Okay, sound. But the exact mechanism of this unification remains unknown. Yes, it's fucking known. This is unknown to a lot of people. The Planck scale is therefore the point at which the effects of quantum gravity can no longer be ignored in other fundamental interactions, which means at some point, even though we're used to gravity, we begin to understand that it is detrimental also. Gravity is detrimental to the Planck unit, where the current calculations and approaches begin to break down and a means to take account of its impact is necessary. So, what impact does gravity have on us? If we're being forced to stay down, what do you think that does to your body? Because we are always talking about the things that we eat, the perfumes, the topical things that we put on our body. But to understand that gravity is literally not a natural, is not natural to the realm, and that it is harmful to you, which is why it blocks part of. Remember, you have a soft spot up here where your pineal gland transmits and receives knowledge and information. Well, you have a force, a dome over you to keep you here. It affects your torus field. Okay, so gravity is not good for Planck units. It is harming us. We feel it. When you have when a Planck unit goes into distress from too much sugar, salt and things, you start swelling. Why are you swelling up? Because of the force of gravity. Not just what you're eating, because of the force of gravity. It's not natural. So let's keep going. But the exact our time is up. I'm gonna finish off this. I'm gonna finish off this relationship to gravity, and then we done because I got to get ready for later. We're gonna do the Bible study later. Okay. The Planck scale is therefore the point at which the effects of quantum gravity can no longer be ignored in other fundamental interactions, where current calculations and approaches begin to break down, and a means to take account of its impact is necessary. You have to take account of the relationship you have with gravity. It is not normal. When you don't feel well, that pressure you feel on your body, that's gravity, which is why your body has to work so much harder to heal because you have a gravitational pull on you that is not normal. Okay. So, and a means to take account of its impact is necessary on these grounds. It has been speculated that it may be an approximate lower limit at which a black hole could be formed by collapse. So often, when you don't feel good because you are black radiation, you might collapse. But they've got you thinking black holes just out in space and it turns it. No, baby, people, y'all some bad motherfuckers. This is y'all. This is us. While physicists have a fairly good understanding of other fundamental interactions of forces, they have a fairly good understanding of other fundamental interactions of forces on the quantum level. Gravity is problematic and cannot be integrated with quantum mechanics. At very high energies, using the usual framework of quantum field theory, a lesser energy field is usually ignored, while for energies approaching or exceeding the Planck scale, a new theory of quantum gravitativity is necessary. Approaches to this problem include string theory, M theory, loop quantum gravity, non-commutative geometry, and causal set theory. Okay, people, that was our hour 4 Planck units. I'll probably try to include an hour of oh shoot, I didn't even put it back on the screen. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just reading. So yeah, that is our hour. But we have to start incorporating reading these things out loud, diving deeper into what is really being said to us, because they love to use science mumbo jumbo. So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming in. I appreciate your time and attention. Please like, share, hit that cash app, because, like I said, I'm not raising funds to do no more, nothing of this realm. I'm not helping this realm out no more like that. I'm helping my people. This is how I can help you. This is how I can reach you. Share this knowledge. Share this information. It's out there. It's out there. My name is Salima Ellis. You can catch me across the boards. I will not be ever opening any new app. I'm sticking to Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. That's it. And my Gmail. You have to hit me on that. I'm not going to do these other apps. They seem pretty predatory, especially where men are concerned. I was on, what was that? I don't know, but ISIS had moved over there. So I moved over there too. Man, I've never been verbally assaulted so much in my life. So no, I will not be moving my knowledge to any new app or none of that. I'll probably have an in-state educational class to go deeper into the Planck units, but that will be my alchemy class. That's for the alchemy class. The Bible study tonight, I'm sure we won't be able to finish it all because I'm going to be banging some heads. I'm coming flat the fuck out. Adam is the beast out of the earth. I'm going to back up everything I'm talking about with articles and everything else that we do. Gratitude, gratitude. I'm so thankful and grateful for all of your donations. I appreciate it. So, like I was saying, you have to read out loud. You have to read out loud. I read out loud, and I read these things more than once. You saw this paper. This thing is like 20 years old. Like literally. Literally. There's so much. You can see the back. These are notes. This is really all I do. Okay? So when you're reading, read out loud. If you're not reading out loud, you're hurting yourself. Why do you read out loud? Because there's more than one of you, which I'm not going to even begin to get into because you're just now getting into Planck theory. But the mind, body, and soul, those are three celestial different beings. The mind is a celestial being. The body is a celestial being. Your soul is a celestial being. That's three people already in one. Okay? So I know that you guys don't understand these things on that term yet because you still have the education of the matrix, and that's cool. That's why we here. So, like I said, one of the reasons why I'm up here is to break down the knowledge. We don't know how to break this knowledge down. We really don't. We got to start breaking down the knowledge for everybody else. And one of the reasons why I'm able to break down the knowledge because I had a teacher, Moses. I couldn't stand his ass, but that old man made me read out loud every document more than once. You want to get something in here, read it more than once and read it out loud. Greetings and salutations to the bloodline. I love you. Thank you all for coming in. Like I said, this is Salima Ellis. Catch me on Facebook, Salima Ellis. My page, I always got videos of other people, my knowledge, get it in. You can catch me on Facebook, Universal Mind School of Evolution. Go there, look at some of the curriculum and stuff. Because people have not interacted with me about the curriculum, I have not put up nothing new, and I will not. Unless you get in touch with me and say, hey, I did such and such and such. What's next? Nobody has done that. So I'm going to keep it just like it is. It's still very informative, especially for new parents that come in that want some knowledge on how to homeschool and things like that. Have at it. I will update it periodically when I can and when I remember to. But basically, this is why I do this, to give our people the knowledge other people won't give you. And when they do have this knowledge, they charge you an arm and a leg for it. So yeah, the Great Mother is here. One of the other reasons, greetings and salutations, Michael Passio, it's always good to see you. So another reason why I'm here is because the knowledge from the Great Mother is important. The men for almost 1,000 years have given up the knowledge that they could as far as they could take it. Well, matriarchs, we can't keep complaining about the men unless we're going to open up our mouths and say something worthwhile. And if you're not going to do that, don't keep complaining about the men. Matriarchs, let's get your mind right. We can't just be all soft and feminine on that side. That's a beautiful side to be on. I love that side. I just turned 52. Yay, yay, May 19th. But we also have to be scientific. We also have to be more philosophical. Okay? You, as the matriarchs, as the goddesses, this is your time to fill in the patterns. The men, they did a bang up job. They keep. So that's the thing about being source. When you know you're part of source, you know that there's a gap in your education that you got from the colonizers, right? But in order to fill in the gap, it can't just come from the matriarch and it can't just come from the patriarch. It has to be both. So when you're up here, this is why me and the goddess were teaching you how to build your own YouTube university. It has to be equalization of the male and the female. Okay, the man and the woman giving you knowledge. I can't possibly be your only teacher because I'm not a man. There's a lot of knowledge you can get from me. Okay, there is, based on whether you feel like you need it or not. Okay, so this is what we're using this platform for. A lot of people coming up here for fun and nonsense, but we know the true teachers that the realm has changed. I can't go, ain't nobody gonna hire me in a school. I'll be talking wow. I'll be telling the truth, but they cannot hire me. I've met so many teachers, so many great, fantastical teachers that come to me often and get counseling because they want to know how can they ease some of what I'm doing into their curriculum without being, penalized. So let's stay together, people. Let's keep it real. So, like I said, thank you all for coming through. Gratitude. Thank you for the Cash App donations. I really appreciate it. And let's get it in tonight. Bible study, 6 o'clock. Have your ass ready. I'm about to tear Adam and Eve a whole new one. And if you think I'm lying, then you don't know me. I love y'all. Yes. Yeah, baby.